I'm one paycheck away from being homeless.
Billions owed to parents and families across Texas. We look closer at programs meant to track down and compel child support evaders to pay. A KXAN investigation coming up.
Already, many of us are in the 30s. Some are already down to freezing right now. We'll track another frigid start to your morning tomorrow ahead of more up and downs in the temperature department.
Plus, flash flooding and concerns of rocks falling over highways. How last month's wildfires are adding to the danger tonight in Southern California.
One of the persistent viewer tips KXAN has received in recent years concerns child support and the process meant to compel those payments some parents say would help them raise their children. The Office of Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton enforces child support. Officials there applaud what they call success in collecting money during his tenure, attributing much of that to recent upgrades in technology. But data from December shows the amount owed statewide has topped $21 billion.
And investigator Arzo Dost found some parents say the state's system doesn't always help families fast enough.
In the few minutes she can spare between two jobs, Ashley Bowling works quickly to pick up what's piled up around her house. Ta-da! The Round Rock mom runs a cleaning service and provides home health care and admits it's tough.
There's never enough time. There's never enough money. There's never enough me. There's never enough help.
Bowling is a single parent to 3 girls. She says she's had challenges getting help from their dads, especially her middle daughters.
He left when she was 5 weeks old.
Bowling shared payment records from the Office of the Attorney General, detailing what he's paid since 2018 and what he still owes. Nearly $40,000 in child support and medical insurance.
I'm one paycheck away from being homeless. We're out of vehicle because my car transmission went out. The electricity bill that is constantly on a disconnect notice.
Bowling says she's repeatedly called the agency, and officials there tell her they can't locate him to make him pay.
If I can't get him in front of a judge for a judge to hold him in contempt, then we don't move forward.
Since 1997, Texas law has required the Attorney General's office to publicly name parents behind on child support. Then in 2019, the AG's office created the Child Support Evader website, which solicits tips online to find parents avoiding payments. To be on the list, a parent must owe more than $5,000 in court-ordered child support, have an arrest warrant issued, and regularly fail to pay in the last 6 months. As of December, there were more than 410,000 cases falling into that time frame. Yet, only 7 parents are on the public webpage. It shows 60 have been arrested between 2006 and late last year. Bowling says her ex should be on that list, but he isn't.
I feel for these parents that need help, and I really wanted to make a difference in that program, even though it doesn't get a lot of publicity, but it does really matter.
At a recent Texas Senate finance hearing, Attorney General Ken Paxton fielded questions from state lawmakers considering his agency's latest budget proposal.
Regarding our child support programs, does our level of funding enable your staff to respond timely to complaints about child support payments?
I am really pleased with what's happened with child support over the last, say, 4 years. We were trying to speed up the process because it was all getting stuck up in the bureaucracy, and we were trying to figure out how can we get these people help faster.
So, what does Paxton's agency say it needs to do that? And the latest figures we obtained from the Legislative Budget Board, the AG's office requested more than $390 million for child support enforcement next fiscal year. That would be a $25 million increase from the current fiscal year's appropriation. For weeks, we emailed and called Paxton's office to ask how additional funding could help stop child support evaders.
Hello, you've reached the press office for the Texas Attorney General.
No one responded.
General Paxton?
Paxton also refused to speak with our team in person at the Capitol after that hearing. Still, we do know the state has found ways to punish many parents avoiding child support. In severe cases, parents have been sent to jail. And last year alone, more than 92,000 liens were filed on property, bank accounts, or retirement plans. Almost 82,000 passports were denied. Nearly 21,000 vehicle registrations were blocked, plus more than 1,000 licenses, including driver's licenses, were suspended.
That often is what will bring people forward, is suspending an occupational license, making it so they can't leave the country because they no longer have a valid passport, making it so that they can't go hunting with their friends.
Jennifer Severn is a family law attorney. Up until last September, she worked in the AG's child support division.
For each attorney, there are thousands of active cases.
Do you think our state's enforcement measures are working?
I think that the state is doing the best job they can with the resources that they have.
Ultimately, Severn says hiring a private attorney is the quickest way to see any money. Bowling says she tried that option, but eventually couldn't afford it anymore. So, for now, she'll continue working to provide for her girls on her own.
I can't be the mom that I thought I would always be.
And none of it feels good. And there's never enough to fulfill the need. And nothing's gonna change.
We tried to reach Bowling's ex, but have not heard back. She's not even in touch with him and says after we started looking into her case, he did make a few payments around the holidays, but that's since stopped again. She has shared her concerns with lawmakers. Now, this legislative session, several bills have been filed, including paying retroactive child support beginning on the date of the child's conception and lowering the interest rate on overdue child support payments. Senator Judith Zaffirini is behind that legislation and says lowering the financial pressure on overdue balances would encourage more parents to pay what they owe. We will, of course, be tracking these bills and keep you posted. At the Capitol, Arzo Dost, KXAN Investigates.
Arzo, thank you very much. Last session, lawmakers made other significant changes, like giving judges the power to order parents who are behind on child support payments to get a job or enroll in a community employment program.
And right now, head to the investigative section of KXAN.com and look for this story to see how Texas compares with other states when it comes to collecting child support. The story started as a tip. If you have something you'd like us to investigate, email us at reportit@KXAN.com.
Well, lawmakers in Austin want to understand how the Texas lottery let one group all but ensure a $95 million jackpot win. Using the help of online courier services, one group won the lottery by buying up nearly every number combination in a matter of days. The Senate Finance Committee doesn't see how the lottery didn't see the red flags.
Is buying $25 million of $1 tickets a sign of money laundering? Yes or no?
I can't answer that question.
Wow.
Now, some senators on the committee said they wouldn't be sad to see the Lottery Commission dissolved. The Texas Lottery declined to comment on this story.
Okay, some places in Central Texas already seeing freezing temperatures.
Yeah, yet another night to remember people, pets, plants, and perhaps not pipes. I don't think we're going to get that cold, but look at these numbers outside now. We're at 37 in Austin, 32 at freezing in Burnett, barely above it in Lampasas right now, and Georgetown at 34. So a lot of places already pretty close to freezing. We've got a much lighter wind. The less wind you have when there's still some partial clearing, the more that the heat of the day can radiate back out into the atmosphere. And while we do have some clouds, the skies haven't fully gone overcast just yet, but we think that they slowly will through the night and through the morning tomorrow. We've adjusted our low expectations in Austin down 1 more degree to 34 when you wake up tomorrow. So perhaps not a freeze in Austin at Camp Mabry, but many of the Austin suburbs and into the hill country will. Here's our expectations for your morning lows tomorrow. 31 in Georgetown, freezing or below in most, if not all of the hill country. Some of the Austin suburbs, but most likely our eastern counties stay just above freezing. This is going to set us up for a chilly Valentine's Day. We'll track that day of love ahead for us here tomorrow, ahead of a weekend that starts warm and ends cool, and we turn much colder next week with the potential for some limited icing.
All right, Nick, thank you so much. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is on his way to Germany. Vice President J.D. Vance is already there. Tomorrow, both are expected to sit down with Ukraine's president and talk about ending the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. On Saturday, Rubio is meeting with Middle East leaders to discuss the freeing of American hostages from Hamas's captivity and advancing the next phase of the ceasefire in Gaza. New numbers out tonight about how many migrants are being detained in Guantanamo Bay in Cuba. A senior Department of Homeland Security official tells NBC News there are 112 immigrants currently detained at the facility. However, the official declined to say how many committed crimes besides being in the U.S. illegally, or if they had been suspected of being linked to transnational gangs. Earlier this month, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the due process will be followed for all migrants housed at Guantanamo Bay.
A potential trade war is brewing among the U.S. and its allies. Today, President Donald Trump signed an executive order that implements reciprocal tariffs. Now, his plan is to increase U.S. tariffs to match the tax rates that other countries charge on American imports. This time, President Trump is not targeting specific products, but the countries he says charge the U.S. unfairly. The president says the plan would help balance the trade deficit and boost domestic manufacturing. But Democrats in Congress say higher tariffs will only force companies to raise prices even more. The earliest these tariffs are expected to be implemented is April. A federal judge in Maryland has blocked President Trump's executive order to restrict the use of federal dollars to fund gender-affirming care for minors. The temporary restraining order will last for 2 weeks. The American Civil Liberties Union filed the lawsuit on behalf of 2 transgender young adults and 5 families of transgender minors. The lawsuit claims the president's order discriminates against trans Americans, but a White House spokesperson says the executive order will hold up because, quote, every action of the Trump-Vance administration is completely lawful, end quote.
People who lived through the raging wildfires in California last month are now bracing for a flash flooding event. There are evacuation orders and a flash flood warning already for people in the Palisades and other parts of Los Angeles. One of the main concerns is that all the rain falling over the burn scars, that's going to create mudslides. The Pacific Coast Highway was closed ahead of the storm due to the threat of rock and mudslides.
Well, at this time of the year, the live oaks start to sway as Austin FC's season prepares to kick off. And the Verde and Black will sport a new jersey in their kit rotation this year. The club calls this one the Heartbeat Kit. And fans gather tonight in East Austin at Parrish to get their hands on the latest look and to celebrate the start of the season. Now, here's what the club said about the new version of Verde.
We wanted to do something that was a little bit different, as you said, a little bit of a departure, but also remain true to the core brand principles.
Now you'll see some little touches such as the heart symbol on the bottom of the front, and then on the back and the neck it includes the chant Verde Listos. Now remember, we have you covered with Verde Lights, our weekly show dedicated to all things Austin FC. That returns on Saturday, February 22nd at 11 in the morning. Now normally you'll find that show over on CW Austin, but that week we're going to air it right here on KXAN as the team hosts Sporting Kansas City later that night to start the season.
And Nick is all smiles over
I know.
here.
Here's the problem. It comes out 2 hours before Valentine's Day. My wife's asleep, and there's no chance that I'm waking up to that thing tomorrow. Wouldn't it be nice? Next Valentine's Day, maybe I'll get this year's kit. All right, let's take you outside to the chilly air all over Texas. 30s and 20s for most of the state right now. And these are the chilly numbers we'll start with tomorrow morning. Plan on a widespread freeze in the hill country, and at least some of the metro getting down to freezing to begin your morning. Then we're up into the mid-40s by the middle of the day. And then into the afternoon, we're trying to claw our way up to about 50 in Austin. There'll be some higher numbers in our eastern counties and the hill country. The metro may be one of the cooler spots here tomorrow. And then the temperatures just don't budge much tomorrow night. Then we get up to Saturday. We start to tap into some warmer air. providing the clouds of the morning lift away, which we think they will this time. And then mid-60s by noon, turns into mid-70s in the afternoon. And there could be some spots in the hill country that get the sun earlier that actually reach the 80s here as we head into Saturday afternoon. What about the sky cover? Well, right now we're just gradually thickening up the cloudiness from south to north. We're not completely cloudy just yet, but as you can see from our computer models tomorrow morning, we start mostly cloudy with a few holes. If you're hoping for sun tomorrow, there's not going to be much, but if there is any, it would be early on in the morning before the skies turn completely gray. And then as they do, a few spotty showers and sprinkles possible during the afternoon and into tomorrow evening, especially along and east of I-35 here tomorrow. So it's not that wet of a day, but there may be a few drops here and there, and it's going to be chilly and cloudy just about all day long. Saturday starts with some clouds and a couple of spotty showers again, perhaps even an isolated thunderstorm in our eastern counties. And then here comes the sun from west to east during the afternoon, helping to give us a temperature boost before our next cold front. So 50 for the high here tomorrow, cloudy and chilly. That's just 3 degrees warmer than today was in Austin. And then there's your weekend. 75 Saturday after morning clouds, some afternoon sun. And then we get knocked down into the mid-50s on Sunday, but plenty of sunshine for the Austin Marathon, although the marathon will begin with temperatures in the mid-30s. So that front, 50s Sunday, but then we start to climb back into the 60s again Monday and Tuesday ahead of another front that knocks us down even more for Wednesday and Thursday. Not as concerned about the daytime highs, although it is going to be cold, but our nighttime lows down to freezing Wednesday, 20s Thursday morning of next week. In fact, we may be seeing these numbers dropping even more. Problem is, with that cold air in place, there's the potential for some light icing next week, late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Tuesday will be just plain rain coming in later in the day, but if there's any of that moisture left over into Wednesday morning as those temperatures drop, we could be looking at some spotty icing. There's that Tuesday rain, and there's some of the leftover moisture before the drier weather takes over later in the day. So right now, we're pretty sure it's going to be very cold by the middle of next week. We'll just have to keep an eye on the forecast trends as to whether we can see that icing materialize for Wednesday morning or whether that rain will be long gone before the cold arrives.
These buildings up here are important for certain reasons. You've got a barbershop with a certain characteristic and style of architecture. You've got this bottom right building which looks like, wow, it could be any old house. No, that building was listed in the Green Book. There's history here.
Well, this weekend, KXAN takes you on a journey to the past, to what was a historically black area in East Austin, while guiding you on a walk through the present and giving you an idea of what the future might hold for that community. Join us this Sunday for our documentary, What Remains, right here on KXAN at 12:30 in the afternoon. It will also air on CW Austin at 3:30 and KBVO at 5:30 p.m. Again, that's this Sunday on KXAN.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Good evening all and happy Thursday. Sunday was quite the day for Vic Schaefer and the Texas women's basketball team. Win over South Carolina, who's really the class of the sport. Man, it was rocking at Moody Center. Do things get easier for this Texas team after facing the reigning national champs? Well, not exactly. They go on the road for a top 10 matchup against number 8 Kentucky, against Georgia Amore, who's really one of the best teams and players in the country. But no need to worry. Texas has Madison Booker. UT down 1 in the second quarter. Shea Holly inside to Kyla Oldacre, who has been outstanding as of late. She had 19 in this one. Texas up 6 before the half. Madison Booker started out cold. She got red hot. Hits the fadeaway jumper. No surprise there. Second half we go. Texas up 18. Inside they go to Taylor Jones. She had 15 in the game. Texas goes up 21. This is a rout, and this is a really good team. And yeah, they started to look good in the fourth quarter. 10-0 run for Kentucky to cut it to 12, but Texas pushed it back up to 20. Madison Booker ices it, just dominant, 19 more for her, and Texas gets another top 10 win.
Think about it, our defense, off the chart. 49 points you held that team to. It's like 40 less than what they normally get, 30 or 40. And then inside game, we certainly had that. So, you know, this team, it wasn't our best night, and yet you still win by 18. So I'm proud of them. That's a really good team over there that we just beat.
Vic Schaefer, always the perfectionist, searching for that better game. They next host LSU Sunday, another top 10 team. Let's go to the Texas men. And Ronnie Terry's now 3 seasons. It's been a rough patch that they're in, maybe as big as they've been in his tenure. 3 losses in a row, the last of which was not close. Alabama dropped 103. Texas now 4-8 in SEC play. Man, they've really struggled at home, especially in the first half. Pre-game Tuesday, when RT was introduced, some boos from the fans, and the Longhorns head coach was asked if he heard it, and that bothered him post-game.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. I didn't hear any boos. I don't know. Maybe it was boos. To me personally, I'm all about trying to get my team better. It's about focusing on those guys, focusing on what we have to do as a program to continue to stay the course and keep working. I don't get caught up in outside noise. If I'm worried about what people are saying or this or that, that's not my job.
Texas hosts Kentucky Saturday. To Texas football, they have 14 Longhorns invited to the NFL scouting combine. Love the shot of Andrew Makuba. One of the 14. That's a program record for Texas. They had 11 last year. That was a great step for them. But this program continues to improve and improve. Combine starts February 27th. Full list on our website. Now to Tashard Choice, running back coach for Texas the last 3 years, is reportedly headed to the Detroit Lions, said no to the Dallas Cowboys earlier, and now he heads to the NFL, has coached some real greats in his time with UT like Bijan Robinson. More sports over on KXAN.com.